Now, as I mentioned earlier, the code panel is the graphical interface where you can create HTML email code blocks. Now, since the Sidecar app is a JavaScript-based web app, you can't invoke or control the Sidecar app directly from your editor. So to get Sidecar app code blocks into the editor, we have to use the system clipboard. Well, that means that once you've pasted a code block into your code editor, you can't edit it again with the Sidecar app. In that sense, it's a lot like a conventional code snippet. Once you've inserted it and made changes, if you want to start over with a new snippet, you lose any changes you made to the old one. Similarly, if you want to start over with a new Sidecar app code block, you have to select the old one in your code editor, delete it, and insert a new one. Now, all that selecting and pasting can be time-consuming, but enter the special Visual Studio Code extension OverpasteNode created specifically for the Sidecar app. What OverpasteNode does is selects the entire node at the cursor or selection, overpastes that node with the clipboard contents, selects the pasted node, and saves the document. Well, so how is that useful? Well, here's how it works. Now, in preparation, I've assigned the OverpasteNode extension to the key combo Control-Alt-V in VS Code. Okay, so say you start with this image node in your editor, which corresponds to these settings in the Sidecar's code panel and renders like this in the browser. But now you want to update the image path to reference the live image on the web. Also, you need to add a table cell with 20 pixels top and bottom padding and a parent table with a beige background. So now just hit Table Code Block here and hit the OverpasteNode shortcut and done. Now let's go ahead and center that. And looks like that image was supposed to be 220 pixels wide, not 260. Now we need to add a wrapper table with a gray background around that table node. But that's not going to work with the inner table with 100%, so let's try 420. And now looks like the table cell is a little taller than we want, so let's remove the default TD height and there we go. So the OverpasteNode extension and the Sidecar companion interoperate to emulate an integrated graphical environment where we can do trial and error updates to our code outside the editor and see our changes reflected in the browser almost immediately without having to keyboard through all that unwieldy nested tabular HTML code. Now, ideally, we'd see our code update immediately without extra keystrokes, but that would require integration into a node-based code editor. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So anyway, in closing, we're going to take literally a second to use OverpasteNode to replace this entire node with our awesome Sidecar dog mascot. And now we're ready to move on to the code panel demo.